Okay, what the hell is going on here? Oh, I know what's going on. It's because that's a second grid.
What is going on over there?
I made a mistake. And I'm trying to recover from it. How many of my landing gear are touching?
Whoa!
Are any of my landing gear locked? There
Um.
we go.
Okay, it
Whew.
settled down.
Yeah,
Wow.
I did a stoop. You want to know what the stoop is?
Uh-oh. I'm trapped in its orbit. What's that?
The drill is a separate grid.
Yes, it is.
So, what I guess I'm going to have to do now is pull the drill apart, or build a small storage container up top, and then grind the drill out and store everything up there, or in a separate small storage container that's not hooked up to anything.
Yeah. Man, that was getting kind of... I got a little scary over there.
I knew as soon as everything started happening, I knew exactly what I'd done.
So, can I assume by your initial reaction that you're not a fan of the new movies?
Uh, well, since I wasn't really a fan of the old ones either.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't feel one way or the other about them, if
Okay.
that makes it. I didn't dislike them
Just
or
not your thing.
anything. Yeah, the concept is interesting, and it's a social dynamic story that has some unique playthings to it, but yeah, I didn't feel like it was a major thing one way or the other. I liked the idea that they're continuing. I thought that the more recent one,
Yes.
the one with the war between humans and the apes, was a better movie than the original one of that. When
When Caesar was still growing up.
Well, the equivalent to the in the old series.
Yeah.
Because the equivalent to that movie in the old series, I felt was not really that good. So,
Not sure I'm following exactly. The initial reboot remake I wasn't the biggest fan of. They tried too hard to make it like the original. But the ones that started out with Caesar just being an ape, unable to speak, unable to do anything, and growing up and learning man's nastiness and everything, I enjoyed it a lot.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that I like that one.
Yeah.
But have you, the original? They had a whole the apes being used like slaves.
Yeah.
And things like that.
Yeah.
There were some. There's some equivalency in the stories, and when you look at the overall plot line, and that's
Oh,
I
excuse me.
like the new ones with Caesar more than their equivalents in the old series.
Okay, I get what you're saying, and I honestly have to agree. Now, to me, it carries a soft spot for me because I did enjoy the first ones, but yeah, I do very much enjoy the newer ones more.
The only thing I really dislike about the new models
Hmm.
is the way they look, the construction states.
Yeah, they're a little off, maybe a little too shiny.
Yes, except for the landing gear. The landing gear look rusted to me
Yeah.
in their initial state. So, all right, what resource do we really want first?
Um, I don't know. We have to go up and look at the doodad up here. The shortest thing we're on is cobalt and gold.
Okay, so I am going to go. All right. I don't have an antenna on this, so let's see which one's closer. Silver and gold that way. I wish there was a way I could set like your rules for flying the ship.
Hmm.
Like this thing is not supposed to rock in any direction.
Override your gyros.
Yeah, I could do that. Boom, boom.
So,
Another job.
even though I said that I wasn't much of a book reader, I was listening to some audiobooks and read a little bit of the Dresden Files.
Ah,
That was
those
enjoyable.
are yeah. I like those stories.
I think I've
And
think I've made it to the White Knight, so don't spoil anything for me.
okay, but now the series that I enjoyed, and I have the entire series on audiobook.
Hmm.
Um, the Wheel of Time series. It's it's really good. I enjoyed it. Um, I think that the later books, after the original author passed away,
Hmm.
um, the problem that the original author had, Robert Jordan, and he had an incredible story. He gets hung up on some of the detail,
I can
and
understand that.
and uh, not that that's good detail, good quantity of detail is helps quite a bit with stories, but there are some problems with it. Um, One of the bigger ones being that um, the first basically if you the first book's good and you can excuse the detail
Hmm.
issue, but you get to the second book and reading the book becomes a chore.
Yep. When I have this little world kind of locked up in my head that I would love to get out on paper one day. Um, but every time I try to write, every single time I try to write, I end up writing a freaking history book instead. Instead of a story, I'm writing a history book, and I get discouraged, and I quit. But I have some history, some economics, some cultural, just tidbits here and there that I've worked on for a while, and I've I've changed from wanting it to be a book series to a graphic novel to hell, an online comic would work fine with me at this point. Um, there's just a story in my head I want to get out.
Interesting issue I had here.
What happened?
I turned the drills on and they fell out of the rotor.
What? That, did you not grind them down and re-weld them up?
Yeah, I did, but no, I haven't started drilling yet.
And it just fell out.
Yes.
Wow.
Advanced rotor. Add rotor head.
Oh, pick up some ice while you're out there, if you can.
Since we're talking about books and things, and you had that story that you are working on, mind telling me anything about it? Keep it hush hush.
I don't mind, because it's probably never going to go anywhere anyway. But, it sort of takes place in its own world. It's not Earth, it's not this galaxy, it's not even this universe, per se. Originally, it was going to be a story of nations, but later on it became a story of a single person.
Oh God.
What? What?
This is terrifyingly hilarious.
Oh no, what's going on?
Well, right now the blocks on the Cornelius are pretty much not going to fall apart. I can tell you that because
Well, I'd hope they're not.
I have a couple of drills that are just the steel plates
Uh-huh.
that had decided they were going to sit here and punch the ground. I mean, it was hilarious.
That's nice. I hope you got that recorded.
Yes, I do. I really didn't know what to do because I couldn't get close enough to rescue any of the other drills because
What do I need next?
they were going to be right on top of me. Let's see. But yeah, sorry about interrupting your story about your story.
Quite alright, quite alright. Well, originally, it basically starts at the Big Bang.
Okay.
And pretty much is a quick tale of the creation of the governing body that would be the Earth Mother of the world that it all takes place on.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, she gives birth to a flesh birth because she basically creates her own body. Not going into all the details, but basically she gives flesh birth to 3 children, and one of them inevitably becomes the evil of the world. Simple enough, and you know
Okay.
where that's going. The 2 children that would otherwise be good and great and all that sacrifice themselves to get rid of said evil, their brother.
Yeah.
Anyway, from those 2, and along with other critters created by the Earth Mother, other races emerge. And
Okay.
that's how you end up with these 6 or 7 different governing races in that world. And basically, it was going to be a telling of 2 soulmates through 3 separate eras of the world's creation. It would have been early sort of high fantasy early on. Later on, it would be more modern, and later on ultra modern. But essentially, it would be the following of these people through the birth, death, and resurrection of their world. It got super complicated, and that's when I ditched it. Kept a lot of it though. I kept some of the creation myths, some of the a lot of what the races are, who they are, where they came from, whatnot. But oh, hello, spider. Later on, I just decided, nope, we're just going to follow one person, and it was basically a girl from an outer town of one of the major cities, and it was going to be a revenge story. Basically, what it was going to be. Never went anywhere.
This is... It's doing it again over here.
Nice.
Except the entire drill is it has been built. It's having collision issues between the multiple grids.
Right. But yeah, as you can tell, because I don't have a whole lot of book experience, it wasn't really going anywhere, and it wasn't sounding that great, so I kind of just left it behind. The world itself is still there, though. And it does have a little bit of potential to go somewhere as a world, as a place to tell stories.
Yeah. Well, we are drilling into the ground, so... Yay.
Always a good thing.
But it looks...
I turned you down.
It looks kind of like somebody is mashing potatoes.
Nice.
And your choice is whether the actual potatoes or the drone, either one. Mashed potatoes are being built over here.
That's awesome. One of the aspects I do kind of cling to in my story, and and to this point I still really like, is the void aspect. One of the elements that came out of me trying to create it into a world for people to play their own stories from, is the fact that the quote-unquote Great War that had the evil and the good and all that, it created these rifts in between realities.
Yeah.
And basically their world became something of a hub world of all different realities. Basically people would be snatched from their realities into it from the void, being the rifts being opened up. And basically there were void priests that had the ability to close said rifts and whatnot, and the magic in the world basically came from the fact that on the rare chance that a child was born and a small rift would be opened up in them, and it sort of did weird things to their body. One of them would end up creating a nasty deformation and eventually create some of the monsters of the world.
I'm trying to remember your void concept. Reminds me of an anime called Familiar of Zero.
Don't know it.
Basically, you have it. It's a fantasy-themed slice of life romance type, and it's a fantasy world, and it's actually got several series in this world around the same characters. It's kind of like each season is a different series.
Yeah.
And you have Zero, who is this mage girl, who she's nicknamed Zero because she sucks at magic.
Awesome.
And the reason why she sucks at magic, it turns out, is that she is a legendary type of wizard or magician that uses void magic.
Okay.
Well, when they're summoning familiars, she summons someone from our world. Just a random teenager off the street.
Right.
Well, they haven't really developed technology because of magic, but other bits of technology have arrived in that world. So they don't understand how guns work, but guns are incredibly powerful. So he knows how to use them.
Right.
He knows how to use all these legendary weapons and that's everybody they're like, you summoned a commoner to be your familiar, and so that's kind of the whole storyline. Is he is kind of bound to her now because he is her familiar, but he is basically a superhero because he doesn't use magic and is able to use all these ancient artifacts that they don't understand.
And what was this called again?
It's Familiar of Zero.
Okay, I'm gonna check that one out.
I just got a whole load of stone because there was nothing there. But it said there was some.
Always lovely. Where did I leave off? Right here. Yeah, but that's interesting that there's that parallel to that. I mean, I guess it's not that original of an idea, but still.
Yeah. And I have a interesting concept for story. Mm-hmm. I actually have one story that kind of grew out of a thing when I was younger. Creating a character, because at the time I had never seen the Hellsing anime or manga, and my friends were telling me about it, and I was trying to create a character that could, from their descriptions and what they said could and couldn't happen with the character, when they made Alucard sound a lot meaner than he actually is. But the whole thing was me trying to come up with a character that could take on Alucard.
Mm-hmm.
And then I created a story for the character, and turned into a story that was a post-apocalyptic battle between magic and technology.
Nice.
Set in the modern world, and humans were not native to Earth. They came in a ship called Aiden that was a massive colony ship and carried all the food and everything. And they showed up on Earth with a terraforming beam. And they arrived on Earth and dinosaurs were existing. So this is like 65 million years ago.
Right.
And there's a big fight as to whether or not they should colonize Earth. And at that point, there's kind of a mutiny. The ship is blown up, and the humans end up getting thrown out of Eden after firing the terraforming beam and killing most of the dinosaurs, except for a few that survived. And in essence, the dinosaurs that were equivalent to humans were dragons. And a few of the dragons survived for quite long periods of time before their race pretty much became extinct, except for the last one, who is an entity in the main story.
That's neat. Did you ever put anything towards that, or just the idea behind it?
I've written about 7 chapters.
Okay.
And it kind of went meh, and then the end result of that is the main character gains the ability to walk between dimensions and create his own. Well, taking that idea, another planeswalker, if you will, to borrow a term from Magic, becomes bored, creates a pocket universe.
Right.
And the one I'm currently writing takes place in that. And it's the idea is that the gods are there was a war between the gods, that basically reset the technology and back to medieval period, and so you have wondrous artifacts around the world, and the gods were basically imprisoned. Their souls separate from their bodies. Their bodies are in prisons. Their souls are basically in just outside death's realm. Let's see, but the story takes place among or during the Industrial Revolution of a society that is heavily uses magic. So
bit of a Shadowrun feel there, then.
Yeah, combined with the fact that the way humans use magic, it kills nearby life. But yeah, that story is going to be heavily influenced by Babylon 5, honestly.
Pretty good source material.
But yeah, that one, I have dragons in that story, but that's more of a title that one of the races has, which basically is their. The gods set it up where the dragons were the first race created.
Okay.
And or the drakes, if you, and the dragons are the ones that inherit the title of, well, inherit dragon, which is basically means the ones that are, what would the right term be? Elemental. The elementals, they control the elements. So.
Hydra, don't fail me now. There are spiders all under me.
I have no spideys. No spidey, man.
No iron spiders?
Mm-mm. I'm kind of curious if, since they introduced his mother, if they're going to be having Amadeus Cho, in the cinematic universe. Because in the animated series they had recently, Amadeus was the Iron Spider.
Okay.
But in the comics, he's been the new Hulk ever since Banner died.
Okay.
Don't ask me.
That's a little beyond, little beyond that I'm going to go down into, because outside of the original animated series, well, not the original, not the 1960 something series, but the 90s series.
Yeah.
And a little bit of the recent one. I don't know a whole lot's going on in his little world.